Hello everybody! Welcome back, or welcome to my channel. Today I am going to be making a very needed video. But before I get into this video, I just want to say that all the statements and opinions are my own and they do not reflect the Walt Disney Company. So I put a poll on my Instagram asking you guys to ask me questions for a future DCP Q&A since I'm not there anymore. And a lot of you guys, and when I say a lot, I mean a lot of you guys were asking me why I left, or if I self-termed, or if I got termed. Well, I want to answer all those questions for you today. I feel like I need to keep you guys in the loop, and I have been sick the past couple weeks, so I just haven't had time to sit down and make a video about it, but now I have time and now I'm feeling better. So I'm going to be making this video for you today, so let's get right into it. I just want to make it clear that I left on my own terms. I did not get termed. So yes, I did self-term. I didn't get fired or anything. I can still apply in 6 months if I want to work for the company again, which I do. I'm on good terms with all of my leaders and my coordinators. They are awesome. I loved every single person that I worked with in the festival, and I hope that I can see them again in the future. I don't know if food and bev is my calling, but if I ever go back, I would love to keep in contact because I made some amazing bonds, and yeah, they were awesome people. Okay, let's get into why I left. As most of you might know, if you guys have been watching my videos for a while, I worked in Epcot. I worked the Food and Wine Festival. There were a lot of CPs that were in the Food and Wine Festival. Probably 300 to 500 of us were in the Food and Wine Festival, and that is because it's very big. It is a lot of booths, it's a lot of people. They needed us. They needed us for that. And yeah, we all knew after Food and Wine was over that we weren't all going to be staying in the festivals. So the next one that's happening right now is the Festival of the Holidays, and they have significantly less booths and crowds, so they didn't need all of us. So they told us that they were going to be keeping around 100 of us, and the rest of us were going to be going away. And they were very vague. They didn't really let us know like where we'd be going. They said it could be any role, could be the same role, who knows, we won't know until our schedule drops. So it was about a week before our schedule is going to be dropping to find out our new location, and word got out that the leaders had lists of where we were all going, so if you went and asked them when you were working, they would tell you. And I found that out on Monday, and I was already home from work, and I didn't work on Tuesdays, so I was like, alright, if I want to know my new role, I'm gonna have to wait till Wednesday. And that Monday night, I'm in a group me for like Epcot festivals, and majority of people were saying that they were getting all of these random roles. Some people were getting merch, some were getting attractions, some were getting food and bev, some were getting like just very random things. I just had no idea where I was gonna end up, and I kind of didn't really want to know until the schedule dropped. So one of my friends, he's kind of closer with like our leaders and everything, he's like, oh, I'll find out your role. And so he told me on Tuesday night, the night that I didn't have work, and it wasn't particularly a role that I wanted. The next day, on Wednesday, I did have work, and I was just really bummed out that day. I went to Magic Kingdom that morning, and I was just like, I don't really feel like going to work today. I just was not in a happy mood at all, so I tried to get an ADO, didn't get it. Then they said I could call out, so I called out. So I was like, okay, I'm not going to find out till Thursday. Thursday came, and I just didn't ask. I didn't really see a leader to ask, so I got all the way till Monday. And I was just like, I have one more day because schedule drops are on Tuesday at night. And I was just like, you know what, I'll just wait till schedule drops, and when I see it, if it's what I'm being told, then I'm probably going to go home because I just want to be happy. So I was working at Rotunda Bistro, and my leaders came up and they were talking to us, and they're like, oh, do you know where you are? And I was like, oh, I think so, blah, blah, blah. And then they just flat out told me. And I started crying at work. It was just a very emotional week for me, so I was just like not in a good headspace. I probably shouldn't have been crying at work, but you know, let out a few tears, it was fine. I wasn't really sure if I wanted to stick it out or not, just because I had probably the most amazing time at Food and Wine, even though like most days I would get to work and be like watching the clock all day, or I'd be like, oh, I hate it here. Most of the time that was a joke. It's just the experience that you have at Food and Wine and the things that you see and the people you interact with. It's like, it was so amazing, and I was like, I know I'm not gonna have that with my new role. So I was kind of going back and forth if I wanted to stay or not, and I ended up deciding that I was gonna leave the day after the festival, or I was gonna term the day the festival was over, just because I wanted to end on a really good note. I'm sure most of you guys are very curious what my new role was going to be. So my new role was going to be custodial at Port Orleans Riverside, which Port Orleans just opened up. It's beautiful, such a beautiful resort. I knew going into the DCP that I didn't want to do custodial or housekeeping or anything like that. I know a lot of people love their role in custodial. It's so chill, and especially at Port Orleans, like, you wouldn't really need to clean much. It would be so nice and chill. I just think for me what it was like, I would have loved to try it out, but I just knew that I wasn't going to be happy, and I was already going to go into it not being so happy, because it's kind of hard when you see like 200 people from Epcot festivals getting like Flight of Passage or like Figment and like all of these super cool roles, and you're just getting thrown into custodial. I feel like that was kind of like a little thing in the back of my brain where it's like, well, why didn't I get picked to do that? And I'm not saying I'm ungrateful for being there, and I'm not trying to sound like that kind of person that's like, oh, I'm like too pretty for custodial or whatever, because I don't think that at all. I knew when I applied for the DCP, if I got custodial, I wouldn't go, because ultimately that's not the path that I want to go in my life, and I just wanted to have an experience that would kind of elevate my work experience and my learning and just like my life experience. I wanted to have a good time. I really wanted to work in Epcot, and I really wanted to work the festival, and I perfectly got both. And I think getting one of my like top role selections for food and bev was kind of like my peak, and I just really wanted to end my program with that. So that was supposed to be my new role. I have so many friends that are in custodial right now, and some love it, some hate it. I don't think it's a horrible role. I just don't personally want to do it. There's just a lot of other things that I would want to do. If I did go back to Disney World, I would probably apply for part-time or full-time merch, just because I feel like that's more up my alley. I don't think attractions is going to further my career or like help me learn anything that I could really use in the real world, so I think merch would be more of a stepping stone to get further in my career. I just really don't want to get attacked for wanting to leave because I got custodial as a role. I feel like people are gonna really like nitpick me and say like, oh, well, you didn't even try it out, how do you even know? Well, it's just like my personal wants and goals didn't align with that, so that is why I didn't try it out, and I'm glad that I didn't, because I ultimately left with a really positive experience, and I think that is very valuable to me, and I'm glad that I didn't leave with a negative connotation on what I was doing there. Aside from the role change, I kind of want to get into what life in the DCP is kind of like and how it was like for me and a lot of my friends. I don't know if it's like this for a lot of people, but for my own personal experience and for all the people I was surrounded with, it seems like it was kind of the same. Everything that I say is not at all to bash the DCP. Overall, I had the time of my life. I had so much fun. I met the most amazing people. I have so many core memories from living there. But working there was a lot. I can't lie, it was a lot of work. The beginning of the DCP, we had 2 days off, and we're allowed 2 days off a week. We couldn't give away more days if we already had 2 days off. And so the 2 days off was kind of nice. We weren't being worked that many hours, but right when October 1st hit, which was the 50th anniversary, we all were getting scheduled 6 days a week, every week and up until I left, basically. And ADOs were really hard to come by because they needed everybody that was scheduled to be there the times that they were scheduled, which is kind of confusing to me because they had so many people scheduled. I don't really understand. I don't know. So basically, you could try for an ADO. You might get it, you might not. The odds are very slim that you'll get it. I never got an ADO. I tried 2 or 3 times and I didn't get any just because I'm such a valuable worker. They just really needed me there to close every single night. So you could call out if you wanted to, but points will rack up and you're not supposed to get that many points or you'll obviously get, not in trouble, but like you'll get talked to. We were all being scheduled 6 days a week for who knows how long, and they said that we could give away 1 day so that we could have 2 days off. But the thing is, if you're trying to give away a 6th day when everyone else has a 6th day, it's almost near impossible to give away because I think you can have 7 days. I don't know if you can have 7 days a week actually because it has to get approved, and I had never heard of anyone working 7 days straight that they weren't already scheduled for. But it was just very hard because there were minimal amount of people that didn't have 6 days to pick up your 6th, or they just didn't want your location, so you just had to work the 6 days, and it was like 8 hours, maybe less, like 6 to 8 hour shifts. And I worked mainly closing. I think every single Friday I worked till 5:30. Every other shift, the other 5 days, were closing shifts, and that would either be from 10 to 11. It would range from those times. And so for me, it was just kind of a lot being there, especially when the time changed and it got dark earlier. It just really felt like I was working like 12 hours a day, and it kind of took a toll on me because I would get home at like 11 or 12 and then I'd be up till like 4 in the morning because I was so awake from being at work all day. And then I would go to sleep and I would wake up at like 12 or 1 and then I'd get ready and go to work. So it was kind of just like constant work. I feel like I never really had time other than that 1 day off to do something. And when I did have that 1 day off a week, I felt like I had to do so much just because it was my 1 day off a week that I wasn't going to be like tired or have to go to work or like just get off work and be exhausted, you know? So it was just like a month or 2 straight of just being exhausted, and it really took a toll like on my mental health, and I feel like I was kind of just there a lot. Like I wasn't ever really just so happy to be there. Like at the beginning of the program, I just wasn't like present and like so excited to meet new people and like talk to new people and all the guests at work. I still was like happy and presentable and like, you know, I would maintain my Disney look and I was friendly to guests and I got my job done. I would say I was very good at my job. When I was on register, I would say that I was unstoppable. I got so many orders taken and I'm very proud of myself for that. But yeah, when a guest would come up to me, ask me a question when I was handing out passports, you know, I would answer it to my full knowledgeable ability and I would help them if they ever needed help, and I got my job done and I put on a happy face, but that doesn't mean that I was happy, you know? And also the thing about working Epcot festivals is like you'd be extremely overstaffed from like 2 p.m. to 6 because that's when like there was an overlap and like the openers would still be there and the closers would be getting there. So me being a closer all the time, I would just have to stand outside, hand out passports for hours, and it was just kind of like, you just kind of zone out for a couple hours and people will come up to you and ask you like the same questions, and it was just like very repetitive. Handing out passports was mentally draining because it was just like you're doing nothing for hours and you'd feel like 6 hours went by and it was just 1. But yeah, I don't know. It was never horrible. I loved my job. I loved my location. It's just like little bits and pieces would kind of take a toll on me. Being said, like some nights would just be so amazing. I remember I worked the Wine and Dine event and it was freezing cold, but I ran into so many awesome people. I talked to the most amazing people ever that night. And another day, I was working and I was handing out passports, and this one girl came up to talk to me with her mom. She talked to me for an hour, and that made my whole day because they were like, sorry for taking up your time, and I'm like, no, like, you don't understand like how much this one little conversation means to me. Like, you're actually acknowledging my presence and like not just taking a passport and being like, peace, you know? So it was little things like that that made my job so amazing. I don't know, it seems very back and forth. It could go both ways. I feel like a lot of people are going to take what I'm saying and just kind of see the negative and think that I never had a good time, but that's not true. It was just very repetitive. My job was not hard, like working a cash register, handing out water bottles, like refilling the water bottle containers, it's not difficult. But yeah, I don't know. I don't want people to think like I hated my job because I really didn't. I loved it so much. I have so many stories and like countless memories from work. I think I worked at one of the coolest locations at Walt Disney World, and I'm so grateful that I was able to do that. I just think some aspects of the job really took a toll on me and my brain and my body, and some days it was just way too much for me and I just wanted to go home. And so I feel like a lot of people right now that are still being scheduled that much are feeling the same way. A lot of my friends have expressed similar concerns, and it's just some days, you know, it could be one day out of 60 that you just can't do it anymore and you just want an extra day of sleep, or you just want to be home. It's really hard being away from home because, I don't know, nothing compares to being here right now, and I'm just happy and content. I do miss it so very much. I wish I was there right now, but I don't know, it's kind of contradicting. It's like, if I was there, I'd be wishing I was home, but now that I'm home, I wish that I was there. And it's weird because I don't even miss like going to the parks all the time. It's like I miss being around everyone that I met because those people are some of the most amazing people I've ever met in my life. But yeah, so that is some of the reasons why I left. I'm not gonna fully get into all of the rest because I just don't feel like I need to lay my whole life out to the public, but that is why I left. I don't want everyone to think that I'm a quitter. I'm not. I know there's been comments made that I quit and I'm leaving all of the slack for everyone else, but trust me, they're doing just fine. They have enough people, and if they don't, there's another moving group coming in next week probably, so they can fill my single spot. I just want to say that I'm so glad that I was able to do a DCP. I will not be doing another DCP. If I go back, I will be applying for part-time or full-time, just because I feel like with part-time or full-time, you'll get a lot more advantages and freedom, I guess you could say. So if/when I do go back, I will be applying for something that I really truly want to do and something that's going to make me happy 24/7 instead of 50% of the time. But yeah, I'm glad that you guys were with me on my journey. If you guys have been watching my YouTube since June, I think, I never put on a front for the cameras. I never made it seem like I was having a blast when I wasn't. Everything was true. I just wanted to show you guys my experience. That's why in some of my videos, like, I would tell you guys, I'd be like, I just got off work, wasn't the best. I was honest. I never got off work and was like, that was the most amazing day ever, unless it was. And if I had a good experience, I would always tell you guys, so don't think I was being fake or just putting it on for YouTube, because I wasn't. I just wanted to let you guys know why I came home, why it was so abrupt. And yeah, so thank you guys for sticking with me and watching this video. If you liked it, make sure you like and subscribe down below. But thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys very soon.